Jason? Why that serious look on your face? Amanda, I'm sorry. I fell for her, for that girl who's cuter than you. You'll have to raise the kid in your belly by yourself. Jason suddenly said he wanted to talk. I thought something was amiss due to his unusual mood and his serious expression. While I was shocked by Jason's statement, I quickly realized what he meant. Despite all his wrongdoings, Jason's attitude was unbelievably high-handed. It was flabbergasting that he would use such derogatory language for his own child and act so dominantly towards me. I told him I needed some time and went to the bedroom. After a while, I heard the front door close. Jason must have left our house to go to Olivia's place. Even before all this happened, my feelings for Jason had waned. He always acted as if it was my duty to obey him because he was the breadwinner. Jason held all the financial power, giving me just a pittance for household expenses. Unbelievably, Jason had an affair with my best friend, Olivia. Looking back, Olivia has always taken away the men I liked. If only Jason had cared about our unborn child even a little. I think I could have still tolerated him. But it's clear he has no love for the child when he can so easily call them derogatory names. In that case, I'll raise this child with all the love I have. I know they'll eventually destroy each other if left to their own devices. But that alone won't satisfy me. When Jason finally regrets and comes begging, I'll show him it's too late. I am Amanda, about to turn 26. I live with my husband, Jason, in an apartment that my parents bought for me. Ever since I was little, my parents lived abroad due to their jobs. I didn't go with them but stayed with my paternal grandparents. Ideally, I should have been with my parents overseas, but I was frail. When my parents were transferred abroad, they consulted with my grandparents. Strongly wishing to take care of me, my grandparents convinced my parents to leave me with them. While I sometimes felt lonely without my parents, my grandparents showered me with love. My parents video called me every day they could, and during their long breaks, they'd come back. So, I didn't feel too lonely. By the time I reached middle school, my health had improved. I led a life just like any other normal person. However, during my high school years, my grandparents tragically died in a chain reaction crash. Anticipating their age, my grandparents had previously discussed with my parents and left a will. In it, they stated that I should inherit all their assets and insurance money. My parents couldn't stay for extended periods because of their work. After numerous discussions, it was decided I would stay alone, and that's when they bought me the apartment. I lived alone in the apartment from high school. With generous allowances and the homemaking skills my grandmother taught me, life was comfortable. Even after I started working, my parents continued to send me money for when I might need it. Therefore, I did not need to dip into my grandparents' inheritance. I met Jason, my now husband, through work. Jason, who was in a business dealing with my company, fell for me at first sight. Overwhelmed by his fervor, we started dating, and eventually, our relationship deepened. Our relationship progressed smoothly, and about a year later, Jason proposed, leading to our marriage. We had planned our wedding in advance, so my parents could attend without any issues. However, for other family meetings, we had to meticulously schedule them as my parents were extremely busy. It was only 3 months after our wedding that I told Jason about my parents' overseas job and their affluence. I had withheld this information because, in the past, there were men who approached me with ulterior motives, eyeing my parents' wealth. Huh? Seriously? Aren't Amanda's parents super rich? Let's just keep getting money from them then. That way, both our lives and emotions will have more room. But I'm married now, and I don't want to rely on my parents. I want to live on our own. Come on, let's just enjoy a little. Let's rely on your parents, please, Amanda. We still have a lot of preparations, just for the beginning at least. Really, just the beginning? I'll talk to my parents, but I'm not keen on it. After talking with Jason, when she consulted her parents, they kindly accepted, saying, "We're far away, and that's all we can do for you." However, in the first few months, Jason properly contributed to the household expenses, but the amount gradually decreased. When she confronted Jason about it, he kept saying sorry, just this month every month, and the money he put into the household kept decreasing. Eventually, he stopped contributing the agreed-upon amount altogether. He probably spent the money needed to live on himself and wasted it. As a result, he often came home drunk. Even when she wanted to discuss things seriously, he was too intoxicated to talk. Before discussing the matter with her parents, he had been helping around the house, but now he did nothing. Such things piled up, and her dissatisfaction with Jason grew. Becoming a housewife was Jason's wish. However, thinking that this situation wasn't good, and unable to consult him, she decided to work part-time at a nearby supermarket. But a few days later, Jason came home furious. "Hey, Amanda. Why are you working part-time? I never said you could. It's embarrassing, quit right now. Are you dissatisfied with my salary? Embarrassing? Why? You don't bring your salary home, right? We can't live like this, what else can I do? What are you talking about? We have the money from your parents, right? Don't go to work from tomorrow. If you don't quit, I'll call your workplace and make you quit, so be prepared." She thought he was just all talk, but the next day when she went to work, he really had called. "We got a call from your husband," she was told. Jason's actions made her feel very embarrassed. Above all, she didn't want to cause trouble at her workplace or involve them in their domestic issues. Although she couldn't accept it, she reluctantly decided to resign. Unable to shake off her feelings, she decided to consult her childhood best friend, Olivia, about Jason. "I see, such a thing happened. No matter how you look at it, it's too hard on Amanda. I'll give Jason a piece of my mind." Olivia said so, but Amanda declined. However, once Olivia started, she couldn't be stopped. So, they ended up going to her house together that day. When Jason was informed that Olivia was at home, he canceled his drinking plans and came straight home. Jason began to act unbelievably. While the three of them were talking, Jason started hitting on Olivia. "Wow, Olivia is really cute, isn't she? Actually, I thought she was the cutest when I saw her at the wedding. This isn't flattery, really. Haha. Jason, you're so sweet. Thanks, that's so kind of you. You're quite handsome yourself. Oh. I almost forgot, why don't you let Amanda work? She's been complaining about it." "Oh, is that so? Well, if Olivia says so, I guess I have no choice but to allow it, huh? Haha, by the way, what kind of job do you do, Jason? I've been curious because Amanda wouldn't tell me." Their behavior and conversation were unpleasant, but all Amanda could do was watch. There were moments when she felt uncomfortable with the way Olivia spoke or felt that Olivia's words were blaming her. However, she hoped that it would be a chance for Jason to reconsider, so she didn't say anything. When Amanda went to the kitchen to prepare dinner, as if waiting for her to leave, Olivia began asking Jason, "Why did you marry Amanda?" and various other questions. She had nice things and seemed well-dressed. "Looked like she had money," he said, laughing. Amanda wondered if he married her targeting her assets, but she had no memory of discussing this kind of thing. The talks about her parents' jobs started a few months after they got married, so she told herself that she might be overthinking it. However, beyond that, there were conversations between the two that bothered her. "It's a shame I get along so well with Jason and he's so handsome. I wish I met him before Amanda did. Amanda doesn't deserve Jason, or should I say, they don't match, right? Oh. But, is it too late for me?" "Just kidding." Olivia said this laughing, and then Jason started to say something unbelievable. "Indeed. Olivia, you're cute and fun to talk to. Maybe I should switch to you." They were having this conversation, but to me, it didn't seem like a joke. Why was I so concerned? Because Olivia always had a habit of taking the men I liked. That's why I couldn't help but feel uneasy. To begin with, Jason is also to blame. Even though he knows I might be listening, he still says things like that. Even if it's a joke, normal people wouldn't say such things. After seeing off Olivia at the entrance, I went to the living room to talk to Jason about how I felt about what Olivia had said. However, Jason, in a good mood, started speaking to me. "Well, Olivia mentioned the part-time job to me. When a cute girl like her tells you something, you just have to accept it, right? Otherwise, it'll ruin my image. Amanda, if you want to work, go for it." "What? What's that reason?" "Seriously, Olivia is so cute, Amanda. I might want to consult her about something, so just in case, give me her contact info." "Okay? Cool, right? Huh? Yes. But..." I felt bad thinking that while I tried so hard to convince him, he changed his mind with just one word from Olivia. Olivia might have a habit of taking my beloved, but Jason and I aren't just dating students, we're married. So I arbitrarily thought it would surely be okay. Soon after, I found a clerical job and started working part-time. Since then, Jason's return home has become later than before. He often left the house saying it was work on weekends. Even when he was at home, he wouldn't let go of his mobile phone. I often saw him grinning at the screen. Whenever he received a call, he'd step out to the balcony, as if he didn't want me to hear the conversation. Although his actions looked suspicious, I was afraid to confront him, thinking of the possibility of misunderstanding and his rage afterward. For days, I wasn't feeling well, so I decided to go to the hospital. I thought maybe I was mentally exhausted because of Jason. However, after various tests, I found out I was 4 months pregnant. I hadn't noticed at all because I had no morning sickness. I was so happy about the pregnancy that I cried in the hospital. I wanted to tell Jason as soon as possible. With that thought, I emailed him, asking him to come home early. I was waiting for Jason to return, but he ignored my message and came back past midnight. When he came to the living room after putting down his luggage, I told him about the pregnancy. He looked surprised and kept asking, "Really?" multiple times. At first, I thought Jason was just too happy and kept confirming. But as he came to believe I was really pregnant, his expression turned grim. He then silently went to the bathroom, and I could tell he was talking to someone on the phone. However, I couldn't make out the details of the conversation. From that day on, Jason often didn't come home without saying a word. A few months passed without a proper conversation, and one day, when he came home unusually early from work, he said he had something important to discuss. Jason? Why the serious face? What's wrong? Amanda, I'm sorry. I fell for her. She's cuter than you. Raise the brat in your belly by yourself. Jason suddenly said he had something to talk about. He had a different atmosphere and a serious face, so I wondered what was going on. I was shocked by what Jason said, but I quickly understood. Jason referred to his own child as a brat and had a domineering attitude towards me. Despite everything he had done before, this treatment felt cruel. I told him I needed some time and went to the bedroom. After a while, I heard the front door close. I guessed Jason left our house and went to Olivia's. As I was sorting out my thoughts, Olivia called me. Hey. Amanda, is Jason still at your place? Olivia, why are you asking that? No particular reason, haha. Just curious. Is it wrong to ask if there's no reason? You always mock me like that. I'm so fed up with it. Oh. Did you by any chance hear something from Jason? If you did, I'm sorry. I guess I took away the guy you like again, haha. Because, you know, I ended up falling for Jason. It couldn't be helped. Forgive me, okay? What do you mean by it couldn't be helped? What are you talking about? Isn't it obvious? Challenges make things more exciting. This was fate for Jason and me. So, can you let me have him? I was stunned by Olivia's words and hung up the phone without saying a word. I felt betrayed by Olivia, whom I thought was my best friend, and Jason, my beloved husband. I managed to calm myself down, determined to protect the child inside me. And to take revenge on those two. I swore to myself. And immediately began preparations for my revenge. I first told my parents everything, and asked them not to interfere until my revenge was complete. I hesitated to tell them, but I also informed them about my pregnancy. Their reaction was a mix of anger and joy. I had one request for my father, to introduce me to a detective he knew, and I commissioned an investigation into those two. A few days later, Jason returned home. At that time, he explicitly demanded a divorce. By then, my revenge plan was already underway. As per the scenario I had envisioned, I tearfully begged him not to divorce me. Jason sighed and said, Amanda, even if you cry, you're just not attractive to me anymore. I've completely lost interest. Olivia is cuter and being with her makes me happy. I'll give you the child, just give me a divorce. Okay. Got it. Here's the divorce paper. Here you go. When I heard Jason's words, I said this and handed him the pre-filled divorce papers with a broad smile. Of course, he was taken aback and couldn't quite grasp the situation. I'm in favor of the divorce. If you started saying you want to keep the child or that you don't want a divorce, it would be troublesome. I've confirmed your feelings, and I'm glad. Oh, that's what you meant. I never wanted the noisy kid anyway, so you can keep it. Actually, I'm relieved. If you promise, let's go with this divorce. You're sure about this, right? Don't regret it later. Don't say you never wanted the divorce or to abandon the child. Amanda, you're persistent. That won't happen. I'll never regret it, haha. Oh, and I'm moving in with Olivia, so please leave this house soon. And please pay compensation to Olivia. Hearing Jason's statement, I almost laughed but held back. He seemed to have some major misunderstanding, but I chose not to address it. After finishing our conversation, Jason said he would go on a trip as soon as he filed the divorce papers, and he left happily. I informed my part-time job that I was getting a divorce and would need some time off to settle matters. They kindly told me to take a break. I also contacted my parents about the divorce and the apartment. When I asked if it was okay to move out of the apartment they bought for me, they said they already arranged a new place and would sell this apartment. I quickly started packing and moved to the residence my parents had prepared. 2 days later, my phone was bombarded with calls from Jason, who had returned from his trip. I could guess the content of the calls, so I sent him just one message. I cannot live in that apartment anymore. It's already on sale. I sent your belongings to Olivia's house, COD. They should arrive today. After sending the message, I turned off my phone. Considering what might happen next, I headed to the law firm of a lawyer my father knew. I reported to the lawyer that Jason seemed to have a misunderstanding, probably fueled by Olivia. Jason seemed to think I owed Olivia compensation. I wondered how he came to that conclusion, but the answer became clear soon. The next morning, when I turned on my cell phone, a multitude of missed calls and received messages were displayed on it. Hesitating slightly, I called Olivia, who picked up on the first ring. Amanda. Finally, you reached out. What's going on? Why did you sell Jason's house without permission? I don't get it. Don't just do things on your own. Ha ha ha. Olivia, what are you misunderstanding? That apartment was bought for me by my parents. It's in my name and it was mine, you know. What are you talking about? Jason always said it was his home. And more than that, pay the compensation now. Huh? I don't understand what you're saying. Why would I have to pay compensation? From my perspective, it's you who's talking nonsense. Excuse me? Amanda. What did I say that's wrong? I want a certain accessory, and I need the compensation before it's sold out. Wow, I never realized how clueless you could be, Olivia. So it was you who's been spreading rumors to Jason. Talking to you is giving me a headache. If you have anything else to ask, talk to my lawyer. I'm hanging up now. Wait, Amanda. Don't hang up. She tried to say something more, but there seemed to be no point in continuing the conversation, and since she sounded hysterical, I decided to leave it to the lawyer. 2 days later, the lawyer contacted me and was as exhausted as expected. According to the lawyer, Olivia mistakenly believed she'd receive compensation unconditionally. Obviously, since Olivia was the one having an affair, she was the one who should pay, not me. When the lawyer explained this to her clearly, Olivia started crying and shouting no, and it seemed no further conversation was possible. I apologized to the lawyer for making him deal with Olivia's mess. The lawyer suggested, she's hard to reason with and it's a waste of time. Let's prepare the bill and aim for a quick resolution. I agreed and asked him to proceed. Jason also kept contacting me persistently, but I simply replied, I've left it to my lawyer, so please communicate through him, and kept ignoring him. Later, Olivia ended up paying me $3 million in compensation, and Jason decided to pay $3.5 million in compensation and monthly child support. After this decision, my phone was flooded with complaints, so I decided to change my phone number, email address, and everything else. I only shared the new contact information with a few close friends. Compensation was paid in full by the two of them, and for now, child support is being properly transferred. I thought, it's all over. I can live quietly with my child now. But it wasn't that simple. A year later, the intercom rang, and when I checked the monitor, a frantic-looking Jason appeared. For safety, I called the police, but to avoid disturbing the neighbors, I reluctantly opened the door to ask what he wanted. And so, this is where you've moved. I saw you by chance the other day and followed you here. Amanda, can't we start over? Let's be together again. Didn't you get together with Olivia? What happened? I asked, noticing tears in his eyes. Apparently, he and Olivia got properly married after all. I don't know the full story, but it seems Jason and Olivia accumulated debts totaling around $6.5 million. Despite this, they wanted to have a wedding ceremony and took on even more debt to do so. However, the wrongdoings of the two had become widely known, leading to many guests not attending. As a result, they faced a significant financial loss. Despite all these issues, Jason is a high earner. If he works seriously, he could repay the debt quickly. However, Olivia's reckless spending habits became their undoing. She not only splurged on luxury brands, but also got into the world of host clubs, wasting a considerable amount of money. Their debt, including interest, continued to grow. It reached a point where Jason embezzled company funds. However, his misconduct was quickly discovered, and now his total debt is around $20 million. Olivia, on the run, was eventually caught by debt collectors and taken somewhere. She hasn't shown any sign of returning, which is why he came to see me. Weren't your parents wealthy? Since I'm your ex-husband and think of him as my son, don't you think they could repay my $20 million debt? If they do, I'm thinking we could get back together. No thanks. How did you even come up with that idea? Yes, my parents might have that amount easily, but why should they? What? Why? I'm your loving ex-husband, offering to get back together. Haha. I'm happy to be divorced, so why would that happen? Because it's timely. Oh. It's a child. Let's have another one then. We'll have no choice but to be together, and Amanda's parents will repay on our behalf, right? Let's do that. Amanda, let's have a baby. Don't touch me. It's disgusting. Why would you think that way? What you're trying to do, Jason, is a crime. Concerned, my boyfriend, who had been watching from inside the house, heard my loud voice and quickly restrained Jason. The police arrived soon after, and Jason was taken away by them. Feeling the danger for the future, I consulted with him and went to the local court to apply for a restraining order. Although unexpected, I had another visitor on the same night. It was Olivia, who appeared in a terrible state. Considering Olivia's previous actions and words, I asked my boyfriend to call the police and then went outside. Ah, Amanda. Today, I found Jason's phone location here, so I thought it might be. Amanda, we're best friends, right? Right now, I'm being forced into night work, please help me. Well, that's impossible. Olivia, you brought this on yourself, didn't you? From my perspective, I don't want to help, and it serves you right. Amanda, why can you say such cruel things to me? Please help me. I'll return that terrible man. Olivia, the fact that you're trying to push such a terrible guy on me, and thinking I'd want him, is ridiculous. Saying this, Olivia started wailing and crying out loudly. Hearing her voice, my boyfriend looked out from the front door, concerned. The moment Olivia saw him, she stopped crying, approached him, and started speaking. "Ah. Are you Amanda's new boyfriend?" "I'm Olivia, her best friend." "Wow, you're so handsome. What do you do for a living?" "If it's about Amanda, I'm always available." "Can you give me your contact details?" Olivia, can you stop? Are you after my boyfriend again?" "Just stop with Jason. Already. Don't make me hate you any more than I already do." No. It's just that we have the same taste in men. This new boyfriend of yours is just my type too. Since you come from a wealthy family and never have to worry about money, why not share the men with me?" Hearing Amanda's words, my boyfriend, looking frustrated, went back inside the house. In desperation, Olivia tried to open the front door, but I stopped her. After all, he's not the kind of person to fall for Olivia's cliched and childish advances. "Olivia, can you stop? Just stop everything. Thanks for everything up till now. We're no longer best friends or anything. Never come here again. Goodbye." Saying that, Olivia, who was causing a scene at the front door, was taken away by the police who had arrived. In the commotion, she harmed the police, leading to her arrest for obstructing public officials. A few weeks after this incident, an unrepentant Jason came crying to me. Of course, since I had a restraining order, his approach made me feel terrified. "Amanda, we're destined to be together. We can't be apart. Come back to me quietly. Let's raise our children together. If that's not possible, lend me some money." No matter if he said this through a monitor, it felt as terrifying as a paranormal experience. My boyfriend took care of Jason on my behalf. The police who had been called arrived, and he was once again taken away in a patrol car. Bye-bye, germ man, you're gross." I tried not to laugh at my daughter's words, but to put the final nail in the coffin, I approached the patrol car and had them roll down the window. "Just so you know, since we'll never meet again, I'll tell you. While it's true my parents are wealthy, I personally have assets worth $900 million. You really missed out on a big catch. Oh. Also, we're moving overseas soon, so even if you come here, we won't be around. Goodbye, Jason." The words spoken by my newly verbal daughter and me seemed to have deeply shocked him. We never saw Jason again after that. However, there was once when we received a letter from him in our mailbox. The content of the letter begged for reconciliation and money. The same things were repeated over and over, and the content was as follows. "I've never once forgotten about you, Amanda. Break up with that guy and get back with me. That child is ours, right? The $900 million you mentioned, you just said that to get my attention, right? I understand Amanda's feelings. Is it to belittle my feelings? Otherwise, I can't imagine such an amount. I love Amanda. I believe she will come to me. I've always been waiting for Amanda. At worst, Emily can be handed over to that man. I only need you." Like this, contents like a delusional narcissist were densely written on 3 sheets of paper. Of course, I didn't contact. It was disgusting, so I pinched a corner, sprinkled it with salt, and threw it in the trash. After that letter, no more letters were coming to the house, nor any sudden attacks. After several months of a quiet and peaceful daily life, Emily, he, and I headed to the airport to move overseas where my parents are. By the way, he is a senior I met at my part-time job. He taught me my job very politely at the part-time place. He was a reliable person. He is very serious and kind, always supportive, completely opposite to Jason. Emily is attached to him and admires him as a father. When he was at the part-time place, he seemed to be interested in me, but since I was married, he seemed to have given up. However, after the trouble with Jason, I got divorced, so he approached me. When he confessed, I didn't want to make the same mistake again as I have a child, so I consulted my parents. My parents told me, if you're interested, why don't you start dating and see him seriously? As we started dating, I was drawn to his charm and sincerity. When I talked about going overseas where my parents are, he said he would come along. We've discussed this properly, and we're dating with marriage in mind. I hope that by being with him, including my parents and child, we can all live happily.